Standing before the towering red walls and golden roofs of the Forbidden City, we begin our journey at its grand southern entrance, the imposing Meridian Gate. Completed in 1420, this gate marked the formal threshold between the outside world and the inner realm of China's emperors. For nearly 5 centuries, this immense palace complex served as the political and ceremonial center of the Chinese Empire. 24 emperors of the Ming Dynasty and Qing Dynasty ruled from here, governing a vast population and presiding over one of the most sophisticated civilizations on Earth. But for most of that time, ordinary people could never enter these walls. To them, this place truly was forbidden. The Meridian Gate is more than just an entrance. It was a stage for imperial power. Important announcements were proclaimed from its towers, victorious generals presented captured prisoners here, and emperors reviewed their armies in the courtyard beyond. Only the emperor himself could pass through the central archway. Officials and members of the royal family had to use the smaller side gates, each entrance reinforcing the strict hierarchy that governed life within the palace. Beyond this gate lies a city built entirely for the emperor. Covering more than 720,000 square meters, the Forbidden City remains the largest surviving palace complex in the world. Inside the gate, a graceful stream known as the Golden Water River winds across the vast courtyard ahead. 5 elegant marble bridges cross the water, each once assigned to a specific rank within the imperial court. The central bridge was reserved exclusively for the emperor, the Son of Heaven. The others were used by princes, civil officials, and military commanders, each crossing carefully arranged according to status. In imperial China, even a simple bridge reflected the structure of society itself. Crossing the bridges, we approach the monumental Gate of Supreme Harmony. Passing through this gate reveals one of the largest ceremonial courtyards in the world. Picture this vast stone expanse filled with thousands of officials in richly embroidered robes, kneeling in precise formation while court musicians played and incense smoke drifted through the air. These ceremonies reinforced a powerful idea that the emperor ruled not only the empire but the cosmic order itself. Dominating the northern end of the courtyard is the magnificent Hall of Supreme Harmony. This is the largest wooden structure in China and the most important ceremonial building in the entire palace complex. Inside, the emperor sat upon an elaborate dragon throne during the empire's most important events: coronations, imperial weddings, New Year celebrations, and the announcement of examination results for China's elite scholars. The building itself rests upon a vast, three-tiered marble terrace carved with dragons, clouds, and waves, powerful symbols of imperial authority. Dragons appear everywhere here, and not just any dragons. The five-clawed imperial dragon, a symbol reserved exclusively for the emperor. Just beyond stands the Hall of Central Harmony, a smaller but equally important structure. Before major ceremonies, the emperor would rest here, reviewing rituals and preparing himself before stepping out before the assembled court. Even emperors needed a moment of calm before addressing thousands of officials. Continuing north along the palace's central axis brings us to the Hall of Preserving Harmony. This hall hosted imperial banquets and later became the site of the final stage of China's famous imperial examinations. These grueling tests determined who would join the empire's elite civil service, the scholars who helped govern China. Success meant honor and prestige. Failure meant returning home in disappointment. Passing through another gate, the atmosphere changes. We now enter the inner court, the private world of the emperor and his household. This was where the emperor lived, with his empress, consorts and concubines, surrounded by hundreds of attendants and palace eunuchs who maintained the daily life of the court. Despite its grandeur, life here could be intensely political. Rivalries between consorts, alliances among officials, and the influence of powerful advisors all shaped the course of the empire. One of the most remarkable figures to wield power from within these walls was Empress Dowager Cixi. Though never officially emperor, she effectively ruled China for nearly half a century during the late Qing dynasty. Ahead stands the Palace of Heavenly Purity. During the Ming Dynasty, this was the main residence of the emperor. Later, Qing rulers used it primarily as an audience hall where they met ministers and conducted state affairs. Above the throne hangs a plaque inscribed with characters meaning justice and honor. Legend says that behind this plaque, emperors secretly hid the document naming their chosen successor, ensuring that the next ruler would only be revealed after the emperor's death. Next, we arrive at the Hall of Union. This elegant hall stored the imperial seals, powerful symbols of authority used to authenticate decrees and official documents. With these seals, the emperor's commands could reach every corner of the vast Chinese empire. Behind it stands the Palace of Earthly Tranquility. Originally the residence of the Empress, it later became a ceremonial space for Manchu shamanic rituals during the Qing Dynasty. These traditions reflected the cultural heritage of the Qing rulers who came from the Manchu people of northern China. For centuries, the rhythms of imperial life continued inside these walls. But everything changed in 1912 when the last emperor, Puyi, abdicated the throne following the Xinhai Revolution. The imperial system that had ruled China for over 2,000 years came to an end. Remarkably, Puyi was allowed to continue living in the Forbidden City for more than a decade after his abdication. But in 1924, he was finally expelled, closing the last chapter of imperial rule within these walls. The palace was soon transformed into what we know today as the Palace Museum. At the northern end of the palace complex lies the peaceful Imperial Garden. After the immense courtyards and ceremonial halls, this space feels intimate and almost hidden. Ancient cypress trees, some more than 600 years old, twist skyward above winding paths and decorative rockeries. Elegant pavilions sit among carefully arranged stones that symbolize sacred mountains. For the emperor and his family, this garden provided a rare place of quiet escape from the rigid ceremony of court life. From the moment we pass through the Meridian Gate to the quiet beauty of the Imperial Garden, the Forbidden City reveals a world built entirely around imperial power. For nearly 500 years, this palace was the beating heart of China, a city within a city, designed for rulers believed to govern by the mandate of heaven. Today, millions of visitors walk the same courtyards, once reserved for emperors, ministers, and royal families. And as we stand here among the ancient trees of the Imperial garden, it's hard not to imagine the echoes of that extraordinary history still lingering among the red walls and golden roofs of the Forbidden City.